Katie Dahlan just walked into the studios with her family, and she's going to be posing right now, right here, at the 20-minute mark right here, and at the 40-minute mark right here. Enjoy. Katie, thank you for being here. We've been talking off camera. Let's take a look at this video of you, more video of you on stage. When you look back at the video, anything specific that goes through your mind?
I was so proud of myself. Like, just getting to stage, and like I was just so proud of like everything it took to get there. It was just an amazing feeling just to like walk across and be just so proud of everything. And then when I watched the video again, I'm like, heck yeah, I did that. You know, like it's honestly the best feeling. It's like the coolest in the world.
We've seen you on stage several times. What was your first time like?
My first time was Battle of Texas, and it was my first show ever. And I didn't realize, like I was telling you earlier, how big the show was going to be. I was just like, that one. And that's how I chose the show. I was like, it's close to my house, and I don't have to have a hotel. And so when I was in athlete check-in, they said, oh, there's over 400 NPC athletes. This is the 2021. And I was like, oh my God, I chose a massive show. And it's not like I choose a show based on like how hard it is or whatever. Like I was hoping it would be a smaller show. I didn't know it would be that big. And I will say it was a crazy experience. I did everything wrong, and I got it all out of my system the first try.
What did you do wrong?
Oh my gosh, like during my prep.
This is good for first-time people, you know?
Yes. So during your prep, everything matters. Even like I had so many times where I was like, oh, I don't need to get a full night's sleep. It's fine. I was like one of those people that I don't have enough time to sleep. And so I would get like 4 hours of sleep every night that I worked. And I would say, oh, I don't have enough time to pose. So I was posing only 3 times a week. And those two things really matter. I remember when I started prepping 6 weeks out from that show. It was really short prep. And so I felt like it was very rushed, and I would have appreciated a longer prep because it was very like, oh crap, we have to do a ton of cardio. So I wish we started a little bit earlier, because getting stage lean, it's not like losing 5 pounds, because you have to really like dig deep and fight, you know, to become that lean. So we started the prep, I would say, in my opinion, a little too late. And then I didn't practice posing enough. I wasn't sleeping. Like I was like, oh, I can do 4 hours of sleep a night, and no. And then I remember like we were 3 weeks out, and my coach was like, Katie, if you don't sleep, you're not going to make it on stage. And I was like, crap. And then I prioritized my sleep. Like I was getting like 6 hours, and oh my God, the results came like fast. And I was like, holy shit. Like, okay. Yeah, I was like, I didn't realize that just sleep alone.
Yeah, it sounds like such a simple question, but I'll ask it anyways. How do you prioritize sleep?
Prioritize your schedule. Okay. And so when I have 2 kids. And so when you have 2 kids, a lot of it has to do with their schedule, because
who are sitting right behind the camera right now.
Yes, and giggling. You have to prioritize their schedule and to prioritize your schedule. And it comes down to getting them to bed on time, getting their homework done, making sure that they're like eating their dinner on time. That way you can go to bed on time. Because what I wasn't doing was I would just let them stay up till like 8:30, and then I wasn't getting bed till 10. And I'm an early gym person. I'm an early bird. So I go to the gym, I wake up at 3, get to the gym by 4, so I can be home in time to take them to school. And so with that, I was going to bed so late, because, you know, that's just laying down in bed. So it takes you like maybe like half an hour to go to bed. And so by the time I went to bed, I only had 4 hours of sleep, and it was bad. And so I realized that I was like, okay, so I say in quotes, have time to sleep, and I didn't have time to pose. Is that true? And then you have to ask yourself, is that a true statement? And I said, no, it's that I didn't prioritize. I didn't prioritize it correctly. well, how can I? And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to schedule my day out like this. These are the times, these are my cutoff times. No more answering work emails after this time. You know, just being 100% into everything you do and like making sure like, hey, you need to stick to this plan 100% because if you don't, these are the consequences. And it's really true because like so what was really different about the Cluclo and the Southwest USA was that I made sure I got 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night, which is still like, I would say 8 to 9 is better, but that was way better than the first time. And my results, I was like completely different. I was like, holy crap. And how I did that was like, okay, kids, it's 6 o'clock. We have an hour till bed. You're being in bed at 7. I'm in bed at 7. And yeah, it was just amazing. I was like, man, so I did have time. I just wasn't honest with myself. I just didn't prioritize it. Mm-hmm. So. And
you have no trouble falling asleep that early? Or?
No. Well, in prep, no.
Okay.
Off season, I keep the same schedule. So I've been in off season since the end of Cluco. So Cluco was the last week of May last year. Mm-hmm. And so I just went into off season and I kept the same schedule. I was like, okay, I'm in bed by 7 and just made sure it's the same because even in your improvement season, it matters for like muscle growth and everything.
In the NPC, I wonder how big of an issue this is with competitors not getting enough sleep. That's interesting.
It's probably a big issue because also sometimes you get so hungry you can't sleep, you know? And so it's like if you're going to bed late and then you can't sleep because you're hungry, you know, you're not gonna see as much results. And your muscle grows the most when you're asleep too. So you're affecting how much your muscle growth is happening as well. So it affects everything.
Sure. Yeah. I remember watching HBO Hard Knocks. It's a sports show. Mm-hmm. And JJ Watt, he's super popular football player. And he was getting 10 hours of sleep at night, which is pretty crazy.
I am jealous. I wish I could get 10 hours.
He's like a massive defensive lineman.
Yeah.
But one of the best in the NFL. So
yeah, it's like the first, when you first go into deep sleep, that is when your growth hormone is being secreted the highest. So that's why it's like really, really important. You need to make sure you get all of your deep sleep and your REM sleep. Also inflammation too. Mm-hmm. It's going to lower the inflammation and everything. Yeah. So I feel really good that I feel like I learned all these lessons, those other ones. And
super interesting conversation. That's awesome. Let's look at this video from the Southwest show. What do you remember from the show?
I love that show. It's my favorite one. Betty and Ed Parizo, mm-hmm. They did a really good job with the production. It was beautiful. The background was beautiful. They treated the competitors really well. It's not just the goodie bags, but it's just like how the show was run. It's very organized, and I just felt like a lot better that show. And it was like I would say it's like a smaller show, maybe like small medium show, mm-hmm. And I just liked it better. I was like, oh, and I got to meet so many competitors backstage. Everyone was so nice. I don't know. This is my favorite show I've done so far.
That's cool. We were talking a little bit off camera earlier. Tell us about some of the judges' feedback that you're working on for this next show.
So I did not get feedback from the Battle of Texas, but from the Southwest USA, my feedback was that I needed more glute fullness, and my midsection was too lean for bikini, but I had to get that lean in order, to look the way I did. And that on the bottom, which made me really excited, they had it in bold. They said, you could have been in first place. And I was like, darn it. I was like, shoot. Because for me, I think my glute fullness kind of had to do with my posing a little bit.
So what did you place in that class?
So I did novice, okay. And then I did open. I might get this wrong. So in the novice, I got 5th. And then the open, I got 4th.
And maybe you went down in placing because they thought you were a little too hard?
Yeah, I think my posing, I was standing in a way where I flexed my glutes. And because I did that, they don't look as full because they're flexed.
Okay.
Yeah, because they need to be relaxed and kind of just sitting over your bone so they can just pop out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And have more shape too. Mm-hmm. So I just stood up there and I got nervous, I guess, and I flexed. Yeah.
I think the bikini is super fun, but and I know you're going to say no to this, but I'll ask anyway. You've never thought about moving into wellness?
I get asked that a lot. I don't know why. I'm too small for wellness. I asked my coach, do you think I could do wellness? And she was like,
no.
And I was like, okay. Because I did notice that I'm like a lot bigger than the other competitors muscular wise. But then when I was standing next to the pros, because in the Battle of Texas there was pros there, I felt like I was like closer to them. Not saying like I look like a pro, but like muscular wise, I was like, oh, they have about the same as me. But then I don't know, I felt like big compared to the other amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
And like for Battle of Texas, when I was getting tanned, they were like, are you pro or amateur? And I said amateur. And they said, and I was like, that's a good, hey, I like that. And then I said amateur. And they said, oh, figure or wellness? And I was like, bikini. And then I was like, man, am I too big for bikini? Yeah. We'll see. Like I'm, with my off season, I was a little bit nervous. I was like, I don't want to get in that limbo state where I'm too big for bikini and too small for like any other division. So we'll see my next show, like how good my improvement season went.
That's cool. I was shooting with a photography team yesterday. We were at the Ronnie Coleman Classic. And of course you have that break in between prejudging and finals. I get up on stage during the break, really just goofing around. Mm-hmm. But just, standing out there, the lights on you, it's kind of intimidating. How do you do it?
I don't think about it when I'm on stage. Like I'm totally like one of those people that I have no confidence. I'm like scared to be up there. I have like stage fright and like.
No, you have confidence.
You think so? I don't know. I feel like I don't. I'm like, that's kind of why I got into bodybuilding, because I was like, I need to be confident in front of people and like not scared, in general. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then when I get on stage, I don't think about it because I'm like, this is what I signed up for. So just do it. And I just look at the judges and I don't know. Somebody was asking me like, does it feel weird to stand up on stage in a bikini? And I was like, no. I mean, it's like, I feel weirder going to the beach in a bikini than I do on stage for some reason. I don't know.
I guess you've gone through the posing so much that you've.
Yeah. Yeah, like for my last two shows, I did a good job with my posing, I feel like. The first show, I blanked on stage. And I was just like, oh my God, make it up. And like, I was like, that's never going to happen to me again.
At Battle of Texas?
Battle of Texas.
Was that a show where you could see the crowd or they were kind of dark and you couldn't really see them?
I don't remember.
Don't remember. Okay.
I just saw the lights. And then I was just thinking in my head, like, don't look distracted because you're trying to remember your routine.
Mm-hmm. Some shows, the competitors are on stage. The crowd is darkened out.
Oh, yeah.
You can't really see them. But then some shows you can see everyone. So I wonder how that throws some competitors off sometimes.
Well, they tell you, like, don't look at the crowd, look at the judges.
Okay.
So I think you would get distracted if you looked at the crowd because you're like, oh, people are looking at me. But like with the, I don't know, with like Cluco, I don't think I could see the crowd. But then in Southwest, I could. But I was like, just look at the head judge. Mm-hmm. And then you feel weird because you're just looking at someone smiling for a long time. You're like, do I look creepy up here?
The judges, I mean, I look at the judges pretty often because we're kind of pretty close to them holding the cameras. I mean, they're pretty stone-faced, and I mean, it's not like they're smiling or anything.
They're like,
I'm like, they're judging you.
Yes.
So that doesn't throw you off at all? Or?
No, I don't know why. Like, I thought it would. I was like, how would I be if I go up there? Am I going to be scared? And like, I am scared every time I go up there, but it just felt like normal in a way. I was like, oh, I'm just doing my routine up here. And I felt absolutely fine. And then just like looking at them, I did think it was like kind of weird, but not their faces, like me staring at them and smiling and then not taking my eyes off them smiling. I was like, they must think it looks weird to them because we're, a bunch of people smiling at them.
Changing the glutes harder, maybe less hard on stage. Is there anything else that you're doing in this prep as far as your physique goes?
My waist, because I've had 2 kids, it got distended, just because it stretches out. So I'm trying to make sure it comes back. Mm-hmm. My posing, I feel like it's good for like, just NPC level. But I want to bring more stage presence, because like if you're going to do a bigger show, which I'm pretty sure Heart of Texas is a bigger show, you have to be able to catch the judge's eye like the moment you walk out. And like that's stage presence. And I really want to practice that and just like have that like posing with
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to, because everyone there is good.
Yeah.
And like
these judges are so seasoned.
Yes.
They've been doing it for a long time. They kind of know. I mean, they're judging throughout the whole thing and individual routine comparisons. I'll tell you a story in a sec about what happened last night during prejudging. But those first 4 or 5 seconds of you just walking out, it's important.
Yeah. If you can have you can have a really good physique. Like they always say this, if you have a good physique, but you can't show it right or well, then you're not going to win. I think there's a point to projecting the confidence onto the crowd. And if you watch like Janet Leigh pose or Jessica Wilson, they just capture you because they have that presence. And I don't know how to do that, but it'd be good. I think it's just, I want to learn so bad how to do it. But that's that is my goal for this prep is be able to capture, and then there's she's the one. Mm-hmm. We'll see, because I'm practicing about every day now. So we'll see, but stage presence, it's hard. Mm-hmm. How do you convey that besides doing your poses,
Sure.
So it's an interesting concept.
Story I wanted to tell you, last night, the woman who won bikini overall, her name was Ashley, and in prejudging, they really kept her to the side for most of the comparisons in her class. And I started to notice them looking at her, and I really started to look at her myself as a fan, and I was holding the camera. And her glutes just look way different than everyone else's, especially that upper part. So finally I looked at Freddie, and he looked at a judge, and he was like, you need to move her in the middle. And she looked pretty solid, good, soft enough in bikini. So they moved her to the middle. She won the class, and then she won the overall. So it was she probably thought, I'm not going to do well in this class, but at the last minute, they moved her in the middle. So it was really interesting.
They're probably comparing everybody else because they already knew she was the winner. I've seen them do that with pro shows. They
okay. Well, I didn't think about it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, they'll move somebody out and says, okay, we're going to compare this. Okay, move her to the middle. She's the winner. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I bet you her stage presence was awesome. Probably couldn't take their eyes off her the whole time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Tell me about your team. Sometimes they say it takes a village. You said you have a coach, and anyone else you're working with?
Yeah, so right now I'm working with See You Later Leaner with Adam Atkinson. I just switched coaches to him in March. He's great. I like him so much so far. It's been an interesting difference in how I was being coached before to the way he coaches, which is really interesting. And then I also have my posing coach, Sean Hector Lewis. And she's really good. She's I think she was a judge at one point. And so that's kind of why I chose her, because I was like, oh, she actually went and got certified as a judge, but now she competes. Mm-hmm. So I was like, she's got the eye. She's going to tell me everything I'm doing wrong, which is exactly what you want with a coach. You want someone who's going to be that looks not good. Please change that. Or this is deficient in your physique, so we're going to hide it this way. And so I'm really excited. I feel already my posing is getting even better than it was before. And with Adam, the way he's coaching me for my physique, he really prioritized resting. So for me, I'm an overworker. So I'm 6 days a week, let's get it, let's lift hard. And he took me down to 4 days a week, and I was like, what? This is crazy. But now I'm getting all my sleep. So I'm dang, he really knows what he's doing, and I'm seeing results doing less. So it's the work smarter, not harder type thing, mm-hmm. which you work hard anyway. But yeah, so I'm really excited about my new team I got set up for this year.
Changing the suit at all? Same color?
Same one. I really want to get a blue suit, because I was backstage at the Cluco and all those blonde girls with the blue suits. I was like, dang, you girls look beautiful. When I was asking them, what suit? Most of them had Toxic Angels. Okay. And I was like, maybe Toxic Angels will be the next. Who knows? But they look so beautiful. And especially with blonde, the royal blue. Mm-hmm. I was like, dang, maybe. But then I really like that red suit, because they did tell me my last feedback. They said, we like the suit on you. So it's when they like it on you, you don't want to change it. But then you never know, and then I need a backup suit. So that might be my excuse, to get another suit.
We're talking so much about shows and posing and stuff like that, but probably the most important thing of everything is food. How's
That's
that?
My favorite subject. Yes.
Are you a good cook?
Yes. At least I think so.
I'm so jealous.
So I am a good cook. I'm not. People at work ask me oh my God, that's so good.
Is your husband a good cook?
He's a really good cook too.
Really?
But of food that's really bad for you. So he makes really good hamburgers and macaroni and cheese. He makes the best macaroni and cheese I've ever had. in my life. So maybe one time I can bring you some. It's like really, really good. And his hamburgers, out of this world. So every time I get a cheat meal, I'm like, that's what I want. I want a hamburger, macaroni and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for me, like I really enjoy cooking. I always say like I'm a cook, not a chef, so I don't make up my own recipes. Like I'll take other people's recipes and like alter them so I can do it on prep. And that's the key to not getting bored. So I'm not eating the same thing all the time. Like I'll mix it up and it's good. Yeah.
Cool. You're going to pose in 10 seconds. Thank you we actually pre-recorded this. So you see the ticker on the bottom of your screen, the 20-minute mark. Let's go to Katie, you right now, posing a little earlier.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity.
We're sitting here in the studio and your husband and 2 kids are walking around. He's taking pictures right now. It's awesome. Tell me about your husband. What's he like?
He's great. He works out too. That's one thing that brought us together when we first met is we started running together in San Francisco. So we're from California.
No
yeah,
kidding.
I'm from California.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I'm from LA and then I moved up. I went to UC Santa Cruz and then I moved to San Francisco and I met him in San Francisco at Best Buy. And then we met each other and we went running around like the track around Lake Merced over there a lot. And then he was like, do you want to be my girlfriend? I was like, yeah. And then, yep. And that's where, it bloomed.
Well,
he's great.
Tell me about this Best Buy story. How did this happen? Were you working there? Or?
So when I was kind of late to college. So I spent 4 years at community college and 3 years for my bachelor's. Mm-hmm. And then I got out. So I was 25 when I graduated. And then I wanted to stay in San Francisco instead of going home to Los Angeles. And so I was like, no. And so I'm going to get a job at Best Buy while I apply to graduate schools and work at UCSF as an intern for skin cancer research. And so I was like, I just need something to get me by. And so I was working in the home theater section. And I walked in and I was like, who's that guy? And like, he was there. And so his story is that he was working in tech and he was thinking about getting into sales. And he was like, well, what? Because he does more like, I don't know how to describe what he does now, but he was doing more like programming and stuff like then. And he was like, I'm thinking about sales. So he was like, oh, well, Best Buy, that's an easy way to like get sales experience. And so he got a job in the home theater section and he started like a year before me. And so I got there and he was like, hey, like we started talking and we were kind of bad. So like instead of working, we were talking, which is bad,
If there's chemistry, you can't help it.
Yeah. And like we would go running together, like on the weekends and stuff. It was really cool. And then I was only there for like a month and then I quit. And we both quit on the same time, the same day. Mm-hmm. And then we went to Sausalito, which is like right above San Francisco. It's a really pretty area. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a lot of drama when we quit because we both like didn't show up to work and people were like, where are they? And then like, we were like, bye, we're not coming back. And that's kind of how that happened. And we were together ever since. We got married so that was in 2014. We got married in 2017. We had my daughter in 2015. It was kind of out of order, but mm-hmm. It is what it is. Yeah.
Y'all think about having more kids?
Yes and no. 2 is a lot. I mean, yeah. So I originally wanted 4, but then they're so expensive, like school. I was like, man, because I was like, that's kind of the primary reason. Because like preschools, I mean, I understand the cost and I want to pay them more because they do amazing work, preschool teachers. But man, it is expensive. And
it's like a private thing or private school or?
Yeah, it's just like they're all private until you get to like pre-K. There are some pre-Ks that are in elementary schools that cost less, but you still have to pay for them. but they're pretty much all private.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, maybe, so I'm 34 now. I was like, maybe when I'm 37, we can think about another kid. But I was like, after I turn pro, if I do, if I do. So yeah, it'd be nice though.
When y'all got here, I met Katie outside this tower, and you can just tell your husband's such a nice guy, just right away. That's that smile.
Yeah.
You were saying earlier that he's pretty mellow.
He's super mellow. He's more laid back and more chill, and like me, I'm very like hyper. I have a lot of energy, and so it's really good because he brings me down and I bring him up, so we kind of mellow each other out, and like even each other out and stuff. So it's good.
we're breaking our streak here. This is episode 3 of posing 3 times in studio. In the last 2 episodes, the competitors brought their spouse and they've sat down with him, but we can't this time because he's watching your kids walk around.
You can ask him to come in if you want.
Okay, we'll wave him in before okay, we will make it happen.
He's like, you're pointing at me.
Wait a minute now. Let's see. Can you come in? Actually,
they're watching a show, so they're pretty chill.
okay, but let's do it in the next segment because I have your mic turned off in that control room. We'll do the next segment. So we'll get him in there. We'll get him in here.
I warned him. I was like, you might be on camera, so look good.
Yeah. Well, what can we talk about next? We're skipping a meal for you right now. You were saying that earlier.
Yeah.
You're going to eat right after this?
Yes. So before this, I did have shrimp, and I got a new Cajun seasoning. I was really excited. So I had Cajun shrimp before this, and that's holding me over pretty good. So my next meal will be right after this, and I think it'll be like turkey with green beans. You know, one really good thing about learning to cook and learning to cook healthy, so it tastes really good. My kids, they really love the way I cook, and it's pretty awesome. So they steal my green beans, and I can't be mad because it's a vegetable, you know, and I'm like, hey, you know, and then my daughter, I'm actually teaching her how to cook, so she knows how to cook her own eggs. She's 7, so that's pretty impressive. She like just turns on the stove and like cooks, and we're careful, we watch her and everything, but I can't wait to start teaching her more because like that's so important. I feel like most of the time people eat unhealthy because they don't know how to cook, and it's just like,
I don't know how to cook.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's just following directions. You just find something, like find a cookbook, cook through it, keep the things you like type of thing.
Yeah, I've been wondering if my roommate knows how to cook. I need to ask him.
Yeah. If you have someone to be there with you, because sometimes with like, for instance, seafood, like you want someone there who knows like when seafood is done, you know, because it's more like of a feel like, okay, the shrimp feels like this way or whatever. So I'm like really paranoid about getting sick. So it's better if you have someone who knows how to cook. They can tell you, oh, your steak is this done when it feels this way, you know? Yeah.
I was, during the break yesterday at the show, at the Ronnie Coleman, I was messaging with David Short. He's a physique pro. I've been thinking about asking him to do my meals. And
does he cook? I mean, does he have like a
no, he'll give me the meal plan and I'll probably have someone else cook it. But any tips for me if I'm getting a meal plan from a pro?
So make sure it has stuff on it you like. You know, if you hate fish, don't eat fish. I mean, if you're not in contest prep, you kind of do what you have to do. But if you're not in contest prep and like you're just generally just trying to get fit, because diet, I will say, is a big one for like building muscle. Like getting the diet correct, you'll just see, and like working out, you'll see your muscles explode.
Do you do the whole blood test thing? And
I do my annual checkup. I mean, I should, you know, just as like when you're a competitor and stuff, you want to make sure your hormones are balanced because you don't want to like mess them up and like make them worse. Yeah. Because I think that's why
I wonder if that's more important for women than men. I don't know.
I feel like it is. Especially for women in their reproductive years, I feel like it's really important. In general, like you should always get like an annual physical and just get your blood run just in general. But I feel like as a competitor, you should do it more frequently. Right now, I'm only doing it like once a year at my annual physical, and everything's been great. I mean, my last physical was when I was like right after Cluco, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're so lean." And I was like, "I swear to God, like I'm a bodybuilder. I ate really healthy, and that's it." Like, and then we took my thing, and everything was fine. Like, and I was like, "Good." But like, I got kind of nervous. I thought she was gonna think, because you know you're really lean, and like I was like, I'm not anorexic or anything. I swear to God, I eat. At the time, I was eating so many calories. You know, it's like I eat a lot. You know. because that's the kind of questions that doctors ask you. They get kind of worried, but you're like, I'm a bodybuilder, don't worry.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was talking to David Short via DM yesterday, and he was, there's a lot of, we may be doing more than just meal plan. And it's like, you know, workouts and stuff like that. But then there was one spot that says cardio regimen. And I was like, ew. I can't say cardio, but are you?
Is it cardio? No cardio? No cardio?
No, I mean, I think we'll be doing some cardio, but are you doing a lot of cardio right now, or?
Only 25 minutes. So we just switched up my plan. So 25 minutes twice a week, but then sprints twice a week for 4 minutes.
Interesting.
Yeah, we just switched up. So I was doing 25 minutes 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
But now I asked him for the sprints because I was like, I used to be a track athlete.
Oh.
And so,
did not know that.
Yeah, I respond better to HIIT because I did like track, cross country, Muay Thai. For a while I was trying to be a firefighter. So I was like training like crazy, you know, and I noticed just like, it's just better, especially time wise. So 4 minutes of HIIT versus 25, get it done, you know, get her done, get it all done and just be finished. And
does that cardio pick up as peak week gets closer? Or?
Usually it tapers down.
Okay.
The thing for peak week is you don't want inflammation. And so cardio, it'll raise your cortisol and raise your inflammation. So what you do, if you're ready on time, you'll be like, maybe like walking, you know, you won't, no sprints, you know, for sure. So it'll taper down.
Okay.
So peak week is actually most of the time pretty chill. You feel like you're not doing enough, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. When you get into a show, I mean, what made you want to do the Heart of Texas? This one, how'd y'all choose that one? Just because of the date or something like that? Or?
No. So with my previous coach, I wanted to do a show in May, which would be in the Southwest USA's, which is May. This year was like May 7th, I believe. Just because like Ed and Betty did such a great job with that show. I was like, that's my favorite show. Yeah, I love that one.
I was at that show.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. I really wanted to do that show again just because I like how small it was. I made friends there in the back. I was like, I had a good time. I just want to come back and do that again. And so it was January 1st of this year. I told my previous coach that I was like, oh, I want to do that show. And then she was saying like, because I was thinking about doing the Ben Weider, which is the natural and not for natural athletes one. She was like, well, Ben Weider's in November. And then this one's in May. So I'd rather you do the Ben Weider than do this one because it's too far. You'll lose muscle. And I was like, not arguing with her, but like, I wouldn't say arguing, but I was like trying to convince her. I was like, let me do it, please. And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, fine. And she was like, you'll gain more muscle. And I said, okay, that's the trade-off. And so I ended up switching coaches. So I just let my new coach know that I want to do possibly Ben Weider. It just depends on my work schedule, but like possibly Ben Weider still. But then Heart of Texas, I was like, another Texas show. It's close. That's the main reason why I chose it because it's close. Kind of sad. I missed the Southwest this year. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was like you said, it was like a medium-sized show, and all the pre-show shows are fantastic. So
yeah, they do such a good job. Like I've been to posing clinics with them. They're good.
Posing clinics. They travel around. As a matter of fact, after that show, and I'm sad I haven't gotten too much to the video of that show yet, but I was just thinking, wow, there's just the quality of athletes at that show was pretty darn good.
Yes.
More so than a few other shows this year.
I feel like even though it's a smaller show, like compared to like Battle of Texas, you're getting really good people. Like I remember the girl that won the overall when I was there. I was like, dang, she looks amazing. Like I don't know. I feel like I just like I just love it. Like I see these girls like kicking ass, even though if like they beat me, I'm like, you're freaking awesome, you know? And so like I was watching the girl that won the overall. I was like, she deserved it. I think, oh my God, what was her name? I think her name's Masa Rogers, I believe. Like yes. I follow her now. Like
yeah, she's Persian.
Yeah, I was like, dang, she looks amazing, you know, and those are the kinds of competitors you're going against. So it's not easy per se.
Wait a minute. I thought Masa won the Kuklo. Did she win the Kuklo?
Oh, maybe it was the Kuklo.
Yeah.
Who won the overall? I don't know, but she.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was awesome, the Kuklo, and then whoever won the overall at, I think it was a blonde girl.
I can't remember. We'll have to look it up.
Oh my gosh! But everyone looks so awesome. And that's what you want. Like, I mean, there are shows like maybe you can like walk up and win, but why would you want to do a show like that? You want to do a show that challenges you. And I feel like all the shows in Texas are super challenging. And that makes it fun because like you don't know. You're like, oh shoot, like I'm doing great, but then everyone else is doing great. You know, the challenge. It's pretty neat.
Clip this part out of this interview and send it to Masa Rogers, who's coach, at least last year was her coach's name Masa.
Oh, is it?
So,
wait, isn't Masa like I don't know how to say the IFBB Pro Masa with like the super long last name with an A? Is it her? I don't know how to say her name, but like, oh, cool. Yeah, she's cool too.
Yeah, I think they're pretty awesome. I'm half Persian.
Oh, neat.
And so
neat.
they are Persian.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about, you said y'all are from California. What was the move to Texas for?
So we were living in San Francisco. I was a chemist in California, and he was working where he works now.
A chemist?
Yes, I was a chemist over there. And so he got an email from work saying, hey, we built a Dallas office. We're looking for people to move over there and like start teams and build up the teams. And then of course, you know, it's your home state, so you don't want to leave it. And so when he asked me, I was like, no, I don't want to go. And so he asked me a whole bunch of times. He's like, this is the last week. Like, if we don't do it now, we're never going to do it. And then I said, fine. And then we moved here. And honestly,
have you been here before?
No, not before we said yes.
Okay.
So, where I was just like, sure, whatever. It's if we don't like it, we can move back. And we ended up loving it. So I'm glad we did. And coincidentally, it was a big bodybuilding. It's like big bodybuilding epicenter, surprisingly. Which
bigger than San Francisco?
Yeah, I feel like San Francisco is not about that. It's more about like tech. And over here, it's like
Palo Alto stuff.
Yeah, like Silicon Valley. That's kind of where we were. Housing prices drove us out pretty much, you know, typical thing what you hear like about it. It's just too expensive to live. And so we were like, okay. So in 2019, we moved here and never looked back. It's great. I love it. I love Texas.
Yeah. There's great suburbs here.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like North Dallas too much.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah. A lot of traffic and stuff.
Yeah, traffic's never good.
Well, we talked so much about bodybuilding. What else do you do for fun? Anything? Do you have time for anything? Spend a lot of time with your children, of course.
Yeah, so I focus a lot on them, but I'm trying to give them experiences. So we like to go out and Lake Grapevine. I took them fishing. So I'm really outdoorsy. So I grew up camping. And so anytime I can take them out and like be in nature and like for instance, fishing, like stuff like that, I try to get them out and do stuff like that. During the school year, it's just focused on them in school. But during the summer, I'm like, hey, let's go over here. Let's rent a cabin on Lake Grapevine and like spend 2 nights there or something.
They're here right now off camera, and they seem confident. You know, I like that. Yeah, my nephews are kind of shy.
Well, so my daughter Whitney was very shy, but I put her in karate, and she is completely changed.
Interesting.
Like it just builds your confidence. Like she went from crying in the first day to like now she's a yellow belt. Or a white belt with a yellow stripe, but she's moving up and like her confidence is so much better. My son, he's just naturally confident. And for him, it's more of like, okay, behavior control. We just need you to follow directions a little bit better and calm down. But for her, it's the opposite. She follows directions really good. We just needed her to be more confident and not scared, you know, and it's done wonders for them.
What's next after the yellow belt, white stripe thing?
I have no idea. I just take them there and then they earn their belts.
They after they move up a belt, do they have to do like some massive performance
No, so they do tests, and so in order to get their belt they have to do a test. And so if they don't pass the test, they don't get a belt, which what I really like. No participation trophy, you know, but they do have competitions. So she did the Dallas competition and it was a nationals competition and she got a medal, which, you know, she's seen my trophies. And she was like, I want to win a trophy. And I was like, well, you got to do something to win a trophy. You don't just get a trophy. And she's like,
I like that.
Yeah. And like, so I signed her up and she went and did it. She was scared. Like, she was just like, they're really chaotic karate competitions. There's like people like fighting everywhere, and like we're all in the same room. And like I was like, I had no idea what was going on, but I made her, go out and do it, and she won a medal. And so there's another one in September. I'm totally signing her up for it. I was like, you go do it, girl. Just do more. And that's what I really want to instill in her, is the confidence to go and like go kick ass, pretty much, literally kick ass, in a karate competition. Yeah, and seeing it translate into all areas of her life has been amazing. Kind of like what bodybuilding did for me. Karate's doing that for her.
Do you think your son's going to go into karate?
So we do have him in karate, but 1 day a week.
Okay.
He's a little bit different. He has a lot of energy, and so it gets hard for the teachers. So I felt bad for them. So I took him from 3 days a week to 1 day a week.
You felt bad for them.
Yeah, because he's like very hyper. And so they have other little kids there too. And he's just like everywhere,
He does kind of look like your husband a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks just like him.
Yeah.
My daughter kind of looks like a mix between us.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We are 30 seconds away from you posing again. Your husband's going to join us in this third segment. I'm excited about that. So, he's from Thailand. I am a quarter Japanese.
Whoa, I didn't guess. I mean, I couldn't have
Fantastic.
guessed that.
My mom's about to be here. She's half Japanese.
Cool.
She'll be sitting behind the cameras on this last 20 minutes left. Let's just go ahead and go into it early. Thank you for posing 3 times. We pre-recorded this in another studio. Let's go to that right now. Katie, thank you so much. That was your last time posing. We're joined by Sharif, your husband. Katie's been telling us a little bit about how y'all met at Best Buy, but can we hear your side of the story?
Yes, the Best Buy story. Well, I work in technology, and my background's in development, and I had thought, well, I want to make a lot more money, so I need to get into like software sales. And I didn't have any sales experience, and I thought, well, I got to get some sales experience. So I did get a job, a side hustle at Best Buy in the home theater department. So we sell, big, huge television, DVDs and stuff like that. And I was there for about a year, and then walking a year, but after being there a year, just hustling. I was getting ready to quit, and I was like, all right, had enough of this retail sales experience. And then Katie started. And I was like, she's mine. So that's the story. I mean, we basically met at Best Buy. She's like the only, girl, only woman staff in the home theater department, just full of dudes. So I was competing against all these guys to vie for her attention, and luckily I had keyed in on a mutual interest, which is fitness. I come to found out that she was really into fitness, and I was like, hey, would you like to be would you mind training me? And then, that was kind of like my in with her. We started going for runs on weekends, and I just, tried to spend as much time as possible with her. I was like, so for sure, I was like, yep, she's mine. And let's see. So the drama of the story is we were both with other people. And
she touched on this a lot earlier.
Yeah, so we were both committed to other people, engaged, and we were like, well, let's be together. So that's the transition from that was a little bit dramatic, but overall, it was best decision that I've ever made. She's amazing, very proud of her with her bodybuilding. She's an amazing mom. Has a great professional career, so just best of everything that I could ever imagine in a
Aw.
in a wife and a partner. She is an inspiration, so I like to work out as well, but definitely not to the competitive level as she is. But I do feel like it's such an advantage to have a competitive bodybuilder as someone that I can like learn from and model. So I basically copy everything she does.
He does.
Pretty much everything. And I just kind of like double the, so for example, like the protein amount, just because, bikini bodybuilder, they don't consume that much. But I learned everything about bodybuilding, the routines, the different exercises, what they focus on. She's technically my trainer now. We have she has this app where she can like configure the workouts as a trainer, and I am her first
Client.
first client. So isn't that super cool to like have a competitive, bodybuilder be my personal coach? So that's pretty amazing.
He literally copies stuff I do.
Copy everything.
Like I was like, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat a kale salad now," and I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because I saw you eating a kale salad," and I'm like, "Stop it!" It was like everything.
And I basically just like double, the amounts essentially of whatever she does. So
Seems like Katie says she likes Texas more than California. Are you kind of the same way?
definitely, I didn't know much about Texas. I'm originally from Thailand, and when we moved here, it was just all California, right? So Southern California, I moved to San Francisco Bay Area for college, started my career there. We've been up there for just so long. We couldn't really imagine being anywhere else.
Yeah,
But then
it's
an
hard.
opportunity, had come up, and my work, they're trying to build out the Dallas hub, and offered opportunities, or going to pay for relocation, and I was like, this is a great opportunity, we should check it out at the very least. So we flew out here, actually we accepted.
Yeah.
We accepted
Just
the
did it.
move, and then and then we're like, well, maybe we should come check it out. Everything that we essentially can't get in the Bay Area we found here. And coincidentally, here, we didn't realize it then, but it's like huge bodybuilding, and Katie was like, wanting to get into this sport. And it's like, well, perfect. We're like in the epicenter of bodybuilding in the country, so take advantage. So she started going to shows, and because I think like the prices or standard of living is a little bit cheaper here, we're able to afford all of the other things that could help her in her competitive sport. Food's kind of expensive, getting
Yeah.
coaching and all of those things. The monthly membership for gym, like all of those things we can afford that now that we're in a less expensive area of the country. So
So I've been wanting to bodybuild since 2011.
yeah.
I idolized Aaron Stern, and like I was like, I want to do
When you
it.
said you did track earlier, I thought of Aaron Stern.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Sure did.
Honestly, like that's what I liked. I found her on bodybuilding.com, and I was like, I saw her physique, and I was like, that's physique I want. And then like,
Do you copy the stuff she does on Instagram? Any?
actually, she has like really good tips. Like if her YouTube channel she has a really good cookbook. She has a really good book that's out. Like I always tell my sister, like, hey, she's the one to give, like, listen to her stuff. She gives you the cues, and she's really smart about everything. She's great. But I saw her on bodybuilding.com, and I was like, I want to look like that. This is when, like, if I had started back then.
So that's when she was in figure.
Yeah, I would have done figures. Like, cause I'm just not built like a small bikini girl, It's like back then, like I was built more like a figure girl back in 2011, not like at Aaron's level, but like I had more muscle. And so like every single year I looked at coaching, and I just couldn't afford it because we're in California, and it was like really expensive, like somewhere like $600 a month, like for the coaching, and that's just a regular coach.
Sure.
Yeah, and like
that's high.
it is, yes, and like every single time I was like getting close to like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna hire a coach. And I get pregnant, and I was like, oh crap, and then like, I'd have the baby, lose all the baby weight, and then like get close, and then I was look at the coaching, and then got pregnant the second time. And I was like, darn it. And then like we had my son, and then I was getting closer and closer in 2018. And then that's when we moved here, and then that's when I can hire a coach. But he's absolutely right. Like there was no way in California we could have even done it. And I had no idea that Dallas, Fort Worth area was basically a bodybuilding mecca almost. Like,
It's pretty stunning.
yeah, it's like there's a lot.
Yeah.
So it was a very coincidence. It's like almost fate, you know, like moving here randomly. We didn't even like really research. We just like, let's go, you know, and like it just so happened to be big in bodybuilding. And like people like you were here, which are awesome. So yeah.
What do you think about Aaron Stern switching to bikini? Do you see the difference?
Yes, I love it. Like honestly, I like how bikini got more muscular. And not like, because you know back in like 2011 it wasn't that muscular. I mean, and then now I like the muscularity of it. And so when she switched, oh my God, she looks so good. Like she's my idol, right? Like I talk about her all the time. But her physique is amazing. And she's such a good role model. I mean, she's in her 40s and she looks
kind of reminds me
great.
of you. She's mellow.
Oh, of him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's
I was like,
chill.
no, that's not me.
She's so chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Even
remember
kill for sure.
when she showed, I guess, a video, and she has like an intro to some of, you know, Erin's videos.
Yeah.
She was running across the bridge, and I was like, oh, we know where that is.
Yeah, now we know where it is. She has the bridge in Dallas with like the white things on it. I've never been there, but it's like,
Does Aaron Stern live in Dallas?
no, she's in Florida.
Okay.
So I thought she was in Texas, and I was
Okay.
like, oh my God, I'm going to see her somewhere, you know, at a gym. But no, she's in Florida. I would totally be fangirl, like totally be a fangirl if I saw her. She's like, who's this crazy person?
Yesterday we were shooting the Ronnie Coleman Classic, and one of my friends hopped on stage in bikini, and my chest got a little, I'm getting a little nervous for her.
Yeah.
Just because I knew her. When your wife is on stage, is it anxiety? Is it nervousness? Or are you just mellow like you are right now?
Mellow, more than anything, is a sense of pride. And it's like, wow. And sense of pride and sense of accomplishment, because I know how much work goes into it, right? The prep, the training, just the discipline. And it's, you know, once you kind of see the finished product up on stage, it's like a sense of pride, sense of accomplishment. Yes, you know, she's done it. And she is like, you know, Superwoman, Wonder Woman. So I know that she could do anything. So it's not like nervous or anything like that. I have full confidence that she's going to do well. And more than anything, it's like, you know, it's like a natural environment for her. So it's like, you know, go do your thing. It should just be fun. It should be a great experience. So
I think that's why I don't get nervous, because I kind of feel like I was meant to do it. Like I've never had a problem putting on muscle naturally or anything. So it's like, oh, this is a place for me, like people like me who like, you know, like are a little bit more muscular than the average person, just naturally walking around, you know, and like,
yeah.
And then I get up on stage, I don't feel like, that's why I was like, I don't know why I don't feel nervous, because I've done plays when you were like in elementary school, and all I had to do was say like one line. Like I was like a horse one time, and I couldn't do it. Like I was like, oh my God, like I would like freeze, and like that was it. And like when I walked up on the stage of the past 3 times, it was like, wow, kind of feels like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in terms of like a sports environment type of thing. So it's pretty cool.
Have you ever not been in first call out?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Just one of the 3?
Battle of Texas.
You weren't in first call out in Battle of Texas?
No, I was not. I got creamed at Battle of Texas, but I was like really happy I got creamed. In a way,
Well, it doesn't count. It was your first time. So.
it was my first time, and a lot of things went wrong that show. Like I got my period that night, and so I was watery as heck, and a lot of I would say posing issues and stuff. So I almost like that doesn't count. Like that was like a test run. That was a test. I feel like other shows I think Southwest I got 5th and 6th, not 4th and 5th
That
like I
sounds
said
right.
earlier. Yeah. I think I got Clue messed up with that one. But I think I was first call outs and got pushed to second call outs with Southwest.
Okay.
So obviously my next goal is to, you know, stay in first call outs.
You have to get at least second to be nationally qualified. Is that how it works?
I read the NPC News Online website, and that's what it said.
Okay.
That's my goal. I really want to do the national show in Dallas because I was like, it's right that literally, like, I feel like it's calling me home. I gotta go do it. Yeah, no. I was like, darn, because they're so far away. And then when they put that one there, I was like, oh, well, perfect. You know, just have to get there.
It's in Irving. I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be at the Las Colinas Convention Center.
It's going to bring so much business to that area too, and it's just crazy. It's probably with family. I mean,
do you know if they're going to do
4,000
it
or 5,000
annually?
people.
Are they going to do it annually, or
They haven't officially announced anything yet.
Dude, they're going to get a massive turnout. I bet you
it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be insane.
Yeah, I don't even know how is it a 2-day thing or?
I think it's 1 day.
Wow,
I think it's 1 day.
That is insane.
I know, those poor judges. I mean, good. It's awesome, but then I'm like, dang, like, maybe they should have like 1 day men's, 1 day women, or something, or just to make it easier.
I'm not a part of that show, but I may go as a fan.
Yeah, you should do it.
Yeah,
Be a long day for you too, but
well, I probably can't afford to say the whole, because it's each division. They changed out the tickets and.
Oh, that's true. Do they make people leave? Like, all right, everyone.
They probably will.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe some of it.
I was wondering about that because I've seen that for some shows, and I was like, do they like go through the audience and like check tickets or something, or?
It's different for each show.
Oh yeah.
So, well, we got 2 minutes left. My mom and I are going to check out a condo later, and she thought I was going to invite her on. You can come on if you want. You want to come on? No, I knew you would say no. Why don't you leave us with some advice? Any advice? What's some common questions you get from people? Either about competing or just working out?
Well, a lot of people ask me, like, I get a lot of people who don't compete yet, and they ask me, like, I want to compete. Can you tell me about it? And I always tell them, like, make sure you do your research and get a good coach. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Make sure that you have your finances in check because it's not cheap. Like, even if you don't compete, it's not cheap, but like a show day will run you $1,000 just to compete on that day only. And that doesn't include everything else before that. And also your mental health. If you're not in a good mental health state, going on stage to be judged in a bikini after you've been starved, literally, like pretty much you get to the stage by starving. It's not good for people who don't have a steady mental health. So make sure that, you're well-rounded, you have a good support system, and you're ready for that, because I feel like some women, like, they're not ready to be judged that way. I specifically remember at Cluclo that this girl that was backstage with me, she was so like nervous, and I was like, we were talking, and she's beautiful. I looked at her, I was like, you look fantastic. Like, go up there, strut your things. Don't even think about placement. And she was like really nervous. She got, I think, second call outs, or no, I think she got first call outs. And then she got moved to 4th place. And then they only gave out top 3 trophies at that show. And they said, well, you didn't place. I guess, like, technically she did place because normally 5, but I think top 3 only technically placed with them, I guess. And they went up to her and they said, you got 4th place. Just walk up, do your front pose, back pose, and then walk off the stage. And she said, she was like, I can visibly see her upset that she didn't place or win. I don't think it was that she was like, oh, I should have won. It was just like, it gutted her, like her confidence. And
it sounds like she wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, like I feel like she just wasn't.
Someone told her differently in prejudging or something.
Yeah, or like, I don't know, like it's pretty harsh, to be told like your body doesn't look the way we think it should look. It's pretty harsh. And some people are like, for me, I'm like, okay, well, tell me what to do to get better. And then there's other people who it destroys them. And I feel like that's something you should know about yourself before you get in there. Like, are you ready for that? Because it can be pretty bad. For me, I see it as a sport. It's actually better for me. Like I said earlier, I get less nervous on stage than I do like going on a beach. And that's because there's an actual criteria they're judging to. So I know it's not personal versus like the beach where it's all subjective, And there's my son. Hi.
Hello.
And he's coming on camera.
Daddy, there was eating a lot of candy.
Here's my son, and here's my daughter.
This is Whitney and
Tristan. Yes, they've been eating the candy in here.
Winnie ate a lot of candy.
Well, Katie, it's wonderful to see your children. We've been hanging out for like the last hour and a half.
Yes.
So it's been fantastic.
Nighttime.
I love what you said about the finances and your mental well-being has to be there, and you know it is really expensive. So it's a tough sport. But
Yes.
if you get to the end and your mental health is good, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's why I said I was so proud to be on stage too. Just walking across, because what it takes to get there, and you know, everyone's awesome no matter if you place or not. You're awesome for getting there. And that's what I think people should remember.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Episode 3, posing 3 times in studio. Maybe you know, later down the road you can come back.
Yes.
Cool. That'd be great.
Cool. We have
Thank
so
you.
much video on, so let's end on that. Let's go to that. This is Katie at the Kukla. We'll end on that. This is her posing on stage, and thank you guys for being here, and we will see you next time.